Hello everyone. Today I'm going to introduce to you guys about the metacognition. The metacognition is about thinking, and it is all about increased feedback for self and facilitate by technology provide students the opportunity to reflect on their learning and develop a deeper understanding about their personal learning process, which involved in a particular kind of outcome. So I think for the metacognition, it's also raising self-awareness, which is the capability to analyze one's own strong and weak areas in knowledge and how to fulfill the deficiencies. It's called being self-aware. It's also another way to analyze a task. And what do learners know about the task and what they need to do to complete it successfully? Third thing is a selection of strategy. It is also a problem-solving strategies to enable the learners to understand and comprehend their new knowledge. So I'll be giving an example of metacognition in e-learning using technology to promote metacognition. So, the application and the software that I'm using today for my metacognition sample is explaineverything.com. So I have used Explain Everything to give an example because it is an interactive online whiteboard app which allows for easy creation of screencasts, short videos demonstrating how to work through a particular problem alongside an audio recording explaining the method. So students and everybody is in the education section could use this one in order to screencasting their ideas and present their ideas to others. So the example I'm giving today is in a design classroom where students will get to demonstrating and showing their ideas and their creative concepts to their peers. So using the Explain Everything software, the online whiteboard app, it also allows for easy creations of screencasts. So getting the students to produce their own screencast is the way to promote understanding of learning strategy and also to engage them in the metacognitive talk, which means while they're screencasting their creative outcome and creative process and concept to their peers in front of a classroom, to their peers and teachers, during that during the progress of showing, which can help them to direct their own learning. And also self-explanation has also been shown to be so much more effective for learning by using their screencasting and present their ideas to others. And it's also learning that commonly used techniques such as rereading and highlighting the information so that they will be able to understand the ideas and concept more clearly by themselves. So this approach has also proven valuable when students are correcting their work and giving feedback and comments by their peers, and particularly in practice exams where students could pick like one or two questions where they didn't do so well, or some struggling that they have dealt with while completing their projects. They could explain and self-directing their art direction to themselves and receiving feedbacks and critical comments in order to improve in their process of learning.
So for me, metacognition is about thinking about my thinking. So I was thinking of a reflection. In the past, I always just sit back and thinking, reflecting on what I have been learning and my learning journey every day. In which way I can make my learning better and better. And yeah, that is kind of cool. But after I studied in this class e-learning, and then I know how to reflect, make my reflection more interesting, not just only sit back and think of what's going on, how can I improve that, or what I have done. Let me show you how it look like. So it's here, look like this. So yeah, starting from the reason why I choose WordPress for blogging, and then my e-learning class. For doing this way, I can not just only reflecting and thinking of it and improving, but the point is that once I look back at this reflection, when time is a few years later, it's still here, it's still there for me to look at it. So for example, this one is a model in learning. I also what have I done in class, and then I realized, and what have I learned this thing. Also, I put images and uploading my PowerPoint. I also can put my podcast and anything, YouTube video or Facebook page. So it's it's a lot more fun than just sit back and reflection on what we have done and thinking about that thinking in order to improving our idea.
Hey guys, today I'm going to give you a question and you will have 5 minutes to think it through. Now each of you will choose a partner and you will discuss your ideas with each other. I'll give you 10 minutes. Is everyone back? Does anyone want to share something interesting with what you and your partner discussed to the whole class? Welcome back! Now I'm going to give you 5 minutes to identify what you think educational success looks like. I also want you to identify hindering forces and helping forces that influence your movement towards that goal. Ready? How did that go for everyone? For next week's class, I want you to write in 100 words where you think currently you are in terms of reaching that goal, and the next steps you can take to approach them. Before we go home, I want you to write down or type on 2 separate areas a key idea or concept that you learned today, and on the other side, identify the next step on how you plan to implement what you learned in your own personal experience to ensure that your learning and your teaching is successful. So, to recap, the quick activities that allow students to think carefully about a question before sharing their responses with others, analyzing activities that ask students to identify the helping and hindering forces affecting their movement towards a specific goal, and quick end-of-class activities that ask students to reflect on what they learned that day and to plan how they will act on that learning, all influence metacognition.
An example of metacognition which can be used in science to improve the metacognitive skills of students. As we know, diagrams are an effective way of demonstrating new concepts in science. So, however, when using diagrams, science teachers should try and avoid immediately showing a complete version. This is because research has shown that learning is much greater if teachers themselves draw the diagram and build it up gradually, explaining to students the different layers and functions as they go. Showing the construction of diagram helps enhance students' metacognitive skills. students are encouraged to consider their perceptions surrounding what it means to be a good science learner before these ideas discussed by their teacher, causing them to reflect on their processes and methods of learning. In conclusion, metacognition is a current way of expressing our thoughts, crucial for building our awareness, developing way of thinking about certain things, ourselves and other people's, an ability to reflect, that is, evaluating what we have done and what we have said, to think about the derived conclusions, whether they are wrong or right. As metacognition is self-reflection and self-awareness, it results in learning. It develops higher order thinking and looking at the situations from a broader perspective. The reflection is always specific and directed towards a specific outcome.